there's a lot of crime issues going on in the community, and Pastor Wright warned a long time ago that if the police station moved from this location, that the crime would escalate. And boy, has it ever. Actually, it has skyrocketed. And many other community leaders had stated that they had a great concern for this. And now that all of the crime is escalating, the community, who actually put 7,000 signatures on a petition to save the North Point Government Center and keep this police station here, are actually speaking out and saying that they feel that the crime is related to not having the police station here. So, and also the many resources that were here. Now this building here is sitting vacant, Tim, and it had many programs here, and they did help the community. And I have always said that we didn't need less of what was happening here, we needed more. So what do you feel about losing this valuable asset in our community?
Yeah, for the longest time this was a police station, and we felt comfortable, and we didn't see the spikes in crime that we will be showing you just at Patapsco High School down the street. The people have spoken, and they wanted this to stay as a police station and a government center, and yet our politicians just did what they want. So who's really in charge here? That's what you need to ask yourself, and what are we going to do about that moving forward? We got to stop the problems that are going on.
We are with Pastor Wright at Merritt Park Baptist Church, and we are standing in their memorial garden. And the reason that we are here is because the drug problem that we have in our community is driving the crime problem, the shootings, the stabbings, people breaking into other people's houses. And Pastor Wright was on top of that a long time ago and had said that the crime was going to escalate once the North Point Government Center was closed and the police station was moved. Now let me also say that we have a big problem with the Dundalk Renaissance Corporation. They put out that their motto is living the unexpected in Dundalk. Well, I can tell you, I don't want to live the unexpected, and I don't want the residents of Dundalk to live the unexpected, not knowing if somebody's going to break into their house tomorrow, if somebody that none of the innocent bystanders have been shot as of yet, and we hope that that never happens. But the way the escalation is going, that could happen very quickly, or sometime in the near future. So, Pastor, you did warn the community about that, and what do you have to say now that you see your prediction coming to fruition?
Well, I think one of the things that I was concerned about was that nobody paid attention. When I say I notified the community, I did the association and spoke about it openly at a couple of the meetings that we had. But it was the politicians that I sent letter after letter to and told them that cases were being dumped back into our community of repeat offenders, and they did nothing about it. And I told them that they would be cataclysmic problems if the changes were not made. And then there was a death of a 3-year-old girl who was killed by a drunk driver, the death of an 8-year-old in Cecil County who was beaten, strangled to death, and raped. That guy was on probation, not properly supervised. And then the other young man that stabbed a woman 32 times in Anne Arundel County, who also was in my class, and they couldn't find programs. But what parole and probation was doing, hundreds of cases, they were letting them join a program, and then they would turn around and close their case, turning them back in the community. And in our community, Dundalk, Essex, all over Baltimore County, I'm sure. And the crime has increased in this area and will continue to increase until something is done. And we had 2 shootings last night, or a double shooting last night?
It was actually a double shooting. One of the shooting victims died, and the other one is still in serious condition. And I'm here with Tim Faison Baker, so we can discuss this issue and the issues about all the shootings and the stabbings that are going on in the community. We have so many problems with shootings. I was looking through the police Precinct 12 newsletter yesterday about look through the whole month of July and up until today with the in August, and it was unbelievable what I saw. I saw one incident after another of people involved in shootings and stabbings, people's houses being broken into. It was just totally unbelievable. I lived in this community all my life and never saw anything like this before. It is totally out of control, and this is another shooting that happened right in very close proximity to a school right across the street, and that happened down on Dunman Way, and I was there right after the day after one of those shootings, and I heard another shooting happened there as well. So Tim, you've been from the area, you lived in the area, and you're actually in Edgemere. I read something that they had an incident that someone was robbed down in that area. So you have multiple people approaching someone and robbing them. So how do you feel about the whole situation that's happening in our community?
I've noticed that the crime element has really skyrocketed in our areas. The thing that I find troubling is a lot of times when we go to our meetings with the elected officials, they actually say that crime's down. But when you look at the stories that are going on, these are major crimes that are going on, and this is not the Dundalk and Edgemere and Essex that I grew up in, or you grew up in, or most of you have grown up in. Something has to change, and we need to identify what the problem is, and I have my beliefs of what that is, and then we need to be able to talk about it openly and then begin moving forward.
Well, one of the things is we need to be honest about things. We do have a lot of problems here, and I was at the same meeting you were at, and I'm basing it on what I know about the Dundalk area. I actually would like to take an even closer look at what is happening in the Essex area, in our districts, and I would also like to take a look at what's happening in Baltimore County as a whole, and even Baltimore City, and see where the trends are going. I didn't have the opportunity on this short of notice to go back and look at what was happening before our newly elected officials from the District 6 area, and also from Todd Crandall, him being elected, what was happening 4 years ago and a little prior to that before they were elected. I can assure you nothing this magnitude was going on. We of course did have problems, but nothing on the scale that we have right now. And I also believe that we need to take a look at the people that are involved in these particular incidents and find out what kind of record they have. Not only the record of what they have as being arrested, but also what has happened in the court systems, because we have a real problem here. One of the stories that I heard was that a fellow was involved in a shooting. When he went to court, he actually was let go that day for time served. Now, I think that that's a real problem. And then other people with our bail system, we heard Craig Wolf speak about that, said that we have a real problem, and Scott Schillenberger, we have a real problem with that, and we need to turn that around as well. So now you have a little bit of inside information about the people like I was talking about. We need to look at who these people are, where they're coming from. We need to look at the judges, who's releasing these people. We need to put pressure on them, and we need to come together as a community. And you know as well as I do that I've been reaching out to people from the churches, pastors, and also to other concerned citizens and people that are running for office. So we all need to come together to turn this around. It's going to take the entire community. And how long are we going to have to wait? Are people really going to get serious about this once their child is shot or once they're shot? So the innocent bystander is not far from being involved in something like this. And we just did have a fatality yesterday. So share some of the information, Tim.
Yeah, so the records that I'm getting basically show that the people involved originally aren't from this area. I can't say for sure, but from what I'm looking at and what's been sent to me, I'll let the police discuss those matters. But if that's true, that the people aren't from that area, it's showing that there's a mindset difference from what we grew up in this area compared to what's living here now or coming to our area. It's a culture of corruption that doesn't just mean the residents here. Right behind me, you probably even can see a sign where we have Dallas Dance on that billboard up there. Now, as many of you know, Dallas Dance was just released from jail for committing crimes that put him there. So we're leading by example, and we're not leading by example in a positive way. So that's one thing there where we see that, and then Okay, if that's acceptable, then they can do whatever they want. So then we have a lot of the people that are coming here, as I said, that aren't originally from here. They might be coming from more troubled areas, but they're bringing the problems with them. I heard that there was a 4-year-old girl that was there last night that witnessed the shooting as well. I don't have that as 100% true, but if that's true, that's just a shame. We have somebody now that's scarred for the rest of their life that's seeing that, while we have a loss of life for other people. Plus, the residents in this area have been dealing with crime, other shootings, stabbings just up the street from here, and they're not safe. And what's more important to me is we take care of our own community first. And you have people here now that are afraid to even come out of their house. I know driving down this street, I never used to be afraid, but recently, now I come down the street, I kind of know, it's in the back of my head, this is a hot spot for issues. People don't want to be feeling that like they're not safe in their own homes, and that's unfortunately what's been going on here.
Yes, well, I couldn't agree more. There is, I just couldn't even remember all the different things that have happened. And I recently did a door knocking campaign, and while I was out doing the door knocking, someone was coming into their house. They were just shot on Dundalk Avenue. So here was a person just a few days before that was shot, coming home. Unbelievable. I spoke to a woman that said that her daughter was raped the night before. I mean, it is just a very horrible situation. And you don't see our elected officials coming out and saying anything. At this meeting the other night in Essex, I really don't know what the numbers are in Essex, but I don't believe them. I think that they were fudged. Our government fudges numbers all the time to make things look good for themselves. And I'm highly suspicious of this, and feel that we need to closer examine that. And we also need to look at our elected officials. And if you go back and look at their record, they have done absolutely nothing while they were in office, with the exception of Robin Grammer. Robin Grammer has tried to do some good things, and just the other guys, it's we gave them a shot. It's good that people voted for change in 2014, but it's time to make a change again and send a very clear message. If our elected officials are just going to go along with the status quo, that they're going to go, because we need real leadership and real representation for the people. And we have to look out for our next generation. I know Tim is very big on that, and so am I. We have to start changing things with the next generation, so we won't have the continuation of what we have going on right now. And we need new leadership, as I had said. So Tim, would you like to follow up on that and finish up our interview?
Yeah, sure. I would say that perception is reality. Many of you know what's going on in your neighborhoods, and if you're not feeling safe, ask yourself why. And then ask yourself, what have our elected officials done for you? Why is this trend going on? There's lots of things that we've uncovered to highlight that, and I want to say that they work for us, and we need to make sure we hold them accountable. And if they're not doing their job and they're not keeping us safe, and we're not doing our part to hold them accountable, we need to do something. I have 4 little children. I don't want anything to happen to them. I don't want anything to happen to anybody out there. And what's more important to me is we take care of our own communities and our neighbors first before we bring in people that have issues and problems. It's not the way that this should be going on. And I wish the best for everyone around here, and I'm going to do my part as well as Dundalk TV, in making sure we highlight and show exactly what is going on.
Well, I couldn't agree with Tim more, and you can find Tim online, Tim Fazenbaker. So Tim, spell that for us.
Yeah, that's F as in Frank, Azenbaker. You can also find me with Tim Faze, Faze, a little bit easier, but I have a hard last name. But look me up online. I'd be glad to discuss any of this stuff with anyone.
And Tim is running as a write-in candidate, and we tried to have some of the other candidates here with us today. Unfortunately, on very short notice, they couldn't make it. But there is a very important element, and I want to finish with this, is that we need accountability, as Tim was talking about. And I actually know that people have contacted the police and have gave them information, I should say, gave them information about where drug dealers were at. and actually they had no follow-up on that, and I know that to be the case, and I've heard it multiple times. So there is a real problem there as well. We do have a problem within our police department. Now, I don't want to do a broad brush there, because I know there's many wonderful police officers out there, but we do have a problem within our police department, and we need to look at that, find out what's going on and who is responsible for that, and we need a change in leadership there as well.